Welcome back to Kingdom Hearts. Sora has now entered a magical place. Well, it doesn't look very magical, but it looks cool on the outside. That's what counts. At this point, I think it's only safe to assume that Sora is somehow insane. Most likely due to the head injury when he crashed the roof in Deep Jungle. Or maybe he's high, I don't know. But that's really the only way to interpret this scene at this point. Sora is randomly hallucinating about Kairi. Yeah, he does it quite a bit too, and honestly at the start it just sort of seems like he's overly attached. Honestly, that would probably be better than the alternative, but we'll get to that when we get to that. This magical house is actually the place where the wizard Merlin moved in. Not to be confused with all the other wizard Merlins. This is the wizard Merlin, but I mean not the original one, but the one that Disney had, which has become the original one, much like most Disney things. Haven't actually seen Sword in the Stone, like most Disney movies. But, I don't know, Merlin seems pretty cool. Cooler in Kingdom Hearts 2, I guess, because he actually has a voice. Yeah, this house becomes your one-stop for all magic, including a magic spell called Stop. Can only assume this looked cooler when they actually had it in the movie, if they even did. Gotta love how it's still ridiculously messy, even though he used magic to unpack it. I guess even when you're using magic to make your dreams come true, you can still be lazy. Like, look at those books. They're just stacked there. So yeah, there's one other thing in here besides Merlin at the moment. The drumroll fairy godmother. She's pretty much useless at this point, although I didn't realize it right away. Man, basically these two random magic things came along because Mickey told them to help you do something. I don't even know. But in addition to this trinity, there's just a ton of stuff you can do here. Including some stuff I only recently found out about, but I'll get to that when I actually do it. But that's getting back to that point about how there's things you can find out about older games that you might not know otherwise. I don't know, I just kind of miss that. I don't go back and play newer games because odds are I got everything because they probably showed it to me in a cutscene. That said, I do think the argument cutscenes are bad and they should never be in games is one of the stupidest things ever. I don't know, I like cutscenes. I think they make for a really nice reward for doing something, but also it's just sort of, just because video games are interactive doesn't mean I want to control every single detail. Sometimes I want a character to just be able to do something cool without me having to use a stock 3-hit combo. And then people say, oh, well, you can just make everything much fancier, but that would require way too much work to actually be practical. So there'd be a shortcoming somewhere, and that's just not worth it. Matt, you can practice magic in this place. You have unlimited magic, so it's really handy. I don't really care about practicing with magic, though I imagine if you're doing a magic playthrough, then yeah. But I use it mostly to practice these techs like Sonic Blade, because the timing is kind of tricky. Though I'm imagining in 1.5 it's going to be easier because they added the triangle command, so now you just press triangle to use moves like that and such. But yeah, if you're unsure how to use anything effectively, these two different test things can basically help you. And I do recommend learning how to use things like Sonic Blade and such effectively, because they're just really handy against bosses. Not so much regular enemies I've found, but yeah. I guess if for whatever reason you need to restore your MP, I guess this is one way to do it too. But I don't know, it's not that hard. You could probably just get some money and get an ether or something. Man, I never use items in Kingdom Hearts. No, I've actually heard a lot of people actually do use them, which surprised me a lot. Like, there are actually like entire strategies where they'll say like, oh, you need to bring your ethers and your high potion and stuff, and I could never bother with it. Like, I can't bother to wade through a menu in Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, and when they get to the command deck in later games, I could just never be bothered to waste a slot to fill it up with a potion, that kind of thing. Guess I'll get to the command deck when I get to that, though. Anyway, we haven't even scratched the surface on what you can do in Traverse Town, so let's keep going. So now that electrical thing is charged up now. That changes something, but nowhere near where you actually are, which is kind of strange. That's one more where it would have been helpful to actually have them show what changes. On the other hand, I don't know, it's kind of going, it's a very thin line in my opinion. Anyways, you can unlock that to get you a very handy shortcut to the first district of Traverse Town. So now you can get to either any other place from one or the other. Because 3 goes to 2 and 1 now, etc, etc. So it makes getting around that much easier. Not that Traverse Town's that big of a place in the first place. I did get lost the first time I was here, because it does seem big at first, but once you actually know how it's laid out, it's not that bad. Yeah, you can utilize the Red Trinity to get through here. I think there's only the 2 Red Trinities in Traverse Town. Don't quote me on that. Yeah, that's the boxes I was trying to get over a lot earlier, with some all important Dalmatians. I think they actually might have given me enough to get another reward, but not really worth going after it right now. As good as the Dalmatian rewards can get, don't go out of your way for it, honestly. I mean, you can beat Kingdom Hearts without doing any of the optional stuff, quite frankly. Well, I mean, people can do crazy stuff with Kingdom Hearts, but I mean, like, you can still easily beat it. Without doing any extra stuff. Like, honestly, if you do extra stuff, Kingdom Hearts 1's gonna be a cakewalk, even on expert. I think even cakewalk might be a bit too, like, difficult. Because, yeah, Sora can get very powerful. He's clunky, but powerful. Yeah, who knows? The other Red Trinity is right here at these gates, though it might be a bit hard to see because of the water. But everyone makes it pretty clear you have to head to the underground waterways, so it should be pretty clear this is what you have to do. If not, now you know. If you're using this for a walkthrough or something, I don't know. So yeah, yet another area of Traverse Town has been introduced. And I don't think it ever comes back, which is kind of shame. I think one of my I was gonna say more favorite, but that's definitely not correct grammar. So, yeah, I always liked this area. I like how it looked, and I like some of the scenes that happen later in the game and stuff. Yeah, so the first step to solving the problems, I think, problems in Traverse Town is taught to Leon. Then he lets you talk to Sid, and Sid gets you to do stuff, etc., etc. Anyways, this is the first step. And I gotta say, something coming up here, I absolutely love what the writers did with this little dialogue bit. Yeah, they're basically just explaining go lock keyholes, which kind of redundant at this point. And Sora's like, oh, I don't wanna, but That's... like, would he really... like, he's been doing that pretty steadily so far and enjoying himself. Why would he want to stop? Yeah, you just need to find out about this. Okay, so yeah, I love these ellipses because it's basically mimicking his dialogue from Final Fantasy VIII perfectly. Well, dialogue. You get a very nice little gemstone type thing, and then more ellipses. I love it. It's so Squall-esque. And then he's just like, ah, Leon. Like it's such a nice little, like, I don't know, they're just poking fun at themselves, and I love that because that is one of the huge criticisms about Final Fantasy VIII. So, so that's that. See you next part.